Welcome to Finders Fayre. We're here today to talk about our contemporary local artist show series. And our next one will be the first Thursday in April. That's April the 7th, and it will run for the entire month. And the closing show will be on May the 5th. And our artist that we're featuring for this show is Mr. Sam Keith. And he's with us this morning to talk about himself and his art. Welcome, Sam.
Glad to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we're excited you're here. You're from Texas.
I'm from North Texas.
You've been here all your life.
Yes.
And didn't you go to Lamar?
Went to Lamar.
And
Chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering, okay. So you didn't start off as an artist.
No.
What was it that when you were studying chemical engineering and preparing for that life, what did you think about art? Was art a part
Oh yeah,
of it?
I've always been interested in art, even as a small child. I always loved music, books, art. It's just always been part of my life, even though I'm studying chemical engineering. I'm kind of two-sided on that, you know. I enjoy both, and it just stayed with me. And more as my career progressed, I progressed with the art and photography. So I've done it on the side, so to speak, for many years, and then got serious about it probably 25 years ago, back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I retired, which I retired the first time from Oval in 1997, I just went straight into it basically as my passion. And I get a little upset. Somebody says, "Oh, it's great to have a hobby." I'm type AA personality, and I don't have hobbies. And, so, you know, I went from one job to the next, and fortunately had a passion for it.
Good. Well, it sounds like your life has worked out pretty nicely so far.
I've been very fortunate, very thankful.
One of the things that you seem to stress in your the things that we've talked about is that your art is about content.
Yes.
Now, how do you, in terms of your art, how would you define that?
Well, I visualize art from the concept of content, and my appreciation for other art is if there's content. I'm totally biased in a way toward that. I do admire craft, skill, and knowing your craft. You have to know your craft to be able to project the content. There's no question. So I don't sell short knowing having a good basis and a good foundation in principles and elements of art and that kind of thing, and understanding, having a very good understanding of your tools.
Knowing how to use your tools.
Know how to use your tools. But, to me, then that only prepares you to be able to express the content. And I could care less about the subject. Pat Carter and I used to argue all the time about that. She was saying that that subject matter was the most important, and I was always arguing that content was the most important. And I think we were saying the same thing, but we had a lot of fun with it. But over the years, but I always wanted something you had to participate in. I didn't want you to look at one of my paintings and say, "Oh, that's a horse." or that's a flower, or that's a figure, or, you know, that's very apparent, you know, that's not, I wanted you to understand what feelings it might evoke, or the fact that you had to participate, and it all leads back to, and I may be talking too long here,
No,
but
that's fine.
it all leads back, the content part, to what I'm trying to express. And most of what I try to express is reflections of my life, which could be interpreted as your life from the past. And it all boils back down back to that road series that I did a number of years ago, of the choices we make, because you and I would, or none of us would be in the position we're in if we hadn't made certain choices.
Right.
And when we reach that fork in the road and we take it, if we'd taken the other one, we might be much better off. We might be in really bad shape. Our lives would be totally different.
Sure.
So we have made pivotal, tipping point choices all through our life. And my painting, I try to bring that out in the painting, make you think of that. And
Well, it's obvious that you spend a lot of time thinking about that. You
Yeah.
don't just go down the road like a lot of people seem to do without really examining the emotions and how situations and decisions have affected your life. I mean,
right.
taking the time to reflect on those things and then finding a way to take the content of that and convey it to an audience. I think that shows to me that, you know, that you do a lot of thinking and examining. Do you find that to be, I mean, ideally you would learn from your experiences. I mean, that's one of the big purposes of
Right.
having experiences. When a kid, when he's a baby, falls down, he learns, you know, how to walk. But do you ever find yourself in some that it pulls you down in any way, or is it always positive?
Well, and I get accused of painting dark paintings a lot, but it's all I've always had a positive attitude about them, and it's always ends up being maybe I like melancholy, maybe, but I always feel better having created something that is reflected like that. Mainly, I just think, I guess, you know, what it could have been, or I feel like that I've been very fortunate and blessed with my life, and I'm very satisfied and happy with it. And so to feel, I don't feel remorse that, oh, maybe I should have taken this other fork in the road, you know, because I could have been something else. I'm what I am, and very proud of it, and couldn't have wished for more. But so I tell my wife that almost all my paintings can be positive. It's according to what you take from them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though first glance they may seem to be a pretty dark painting. And so I always take the positives. I feel that overall my work's positive, and that's the intent. But you make of it what you will, and you know, it's different. You have to spend, in most cases, even one as simple as the horse that's sitting over there, you have to spend some time with it and understand. I had real thoughts, and there's a real story behind that.
Not just a picture of a horse.
It's not a picture of a horse. And you know, you'd have to develop your own story. Right. And I've always said that I wanted my art to matter, which I guess all artists do. But if you hung a piece of my art in your home, and I would want that every time you walk by it, it would make you look at it and have another thought. You can get some very beautiful, well-done paintings you can hang over your couch, and after the first 2 or 3 days, you forget they're there. They're part of the decoration. And they're very well done. They're very beautiful, you know. But there's a difference, and that's what I like to see my art is something that every time you walk by, basically it catches your eye. You keep going, but there's a puzzle there.
Well, I think that's a good thing to consider for somebody that buys art is a painting that speaks to you, or a piece of art of any kind, whatever medium, that speaks to you, that you can, whether it's the intention, the information the artist was conveying or not, or something that's personal to you that you can relate to, but it does something to you inside. And I think you're obviously intent on being honest with your art, and what you want to portray is what really something you actually feel. It's not just a painting of something, that it does have content. It has information and experiences that you want to transfer or at least express. As somebody that's not an artist, that always you wish you could find words sometimes for the way you feel, but being talented in this way is obviously a real blessing, because I can appreciate it and I really enjoy art, but being able to create it, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, well, I pretty much, when I approach it, many times I will name the painting before I start, and that's to keep the focus of what I'm trying to express, and I don't use, well, that's wrong to say I don't use reference material, but I don't take, another photograph or painting and that I might take a piece of it or something might inspire me, out of something I've got. But basically it comes from my mind, and I'll name the painting. I'll usually pick the dominant color, and I decide do I want it to be a light painting, a dark painting, texture, a line, or do I want it to be a value painting? I try to fit what I'm trying to say. I make those decisions. I never sketch anything, and I might make a line or two just for composition's sake, but I don't. Like I say, I don't use reference. I don't sketch. Pretty much. I work out the color scheme in my mind. Try to keep it a reasonably simple palette, and a lot of the paintings that you'll see in there. They're abstract, maybe you'd call them that. I call most of my stuff objective expressionism. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but I mean there's real things in an abstract project. But a lot of it I just I see what I can take out and what I can leave out rather than what's in there. And I've taken successful paintings and work backwards with them, taking more and more and more out, and still get my content to speak to you. And I've taken them to where it didn't make sense, But I mean, I've done that on a lot of successful paintings, and because it's. What you leave out is about as important as what you leave in.
Well, I know that's true in design. Sam, let's talk a little bit about this painting that you brought with you today. What's the title of it?
Contemplation.
Contemplation. And this one, like you were talking earlier, you started with the title?
I started with the title. I guess I wanted to express life, or the world we live in, basically, and somehow I get a feeling that it's out of control anyway, our day-to-day life. But I wanted to take it back to the reflection, the memory again that we've talked about before, and the travels that have led us to where we are right now. And so in amongst all that disarray, if you look closely, well, you'll see faces.
Yes.
And,
I saw
there
them.
must be, there's
Here,
probably
there, yeah.
there are a lot of them in there if you want to spend the time. And basically it's I thought with me, those are individuals, and they're individuals that in some way impacted my life, and I'm bringing them forward in all the chaos that's going on now, and in some cases wondering, how we would respond to each other if we were living in the conditions we are now. Most of them are memories, and maybe passed on, but they had a direct impact on me, good or bad. And so I wanted the individual to come out in this painting, but also I wanted it to be pretty discreet. I mean, where you had, if you're interested in the painting, if something attracts you to it, then you're gonna have to look at it for a while to pick up on what I wanted. And your feelings are gonna be totally different than mine, but I hope it would be of an interest and generate some emotion out of it, but it was a lot of fun to do, and there's a lot of layers and a lot of work. I used a lot of texture, which I do
Yes,
on
I
a
see
lot.
that.
Which I do a lot on my paintings now. I for some reason, that element is important to me. It seems like the type of work I do, the texture lends itself to it. So I usually a heavy molding paste or a heavy gel, and it seems to help express what I want. The other thing I do is, on several of them, you'll see in the show, I've used a palette knife a lot. I use a rough brush, stiff brush. I use brushes you go down and get at hardware store a lot. Just because I like stiff bristles. I carry a lot. I paint with pure pigment most of the time. Any mixing takes place on the canvas or the surface, and I just finished this one. I particularly like it. I keep seeing more in it than maybe I intended, but I'm very pleased with the way it turned out.
Well, thank you, Sam, for being with us and talking to us about your art. And again, we're going to have the Contemporary Local Artist Show Series, and it's April the 7th, running through May the 5th, and that'll be the first Thursday here at the Mildred Building from 5 to 9. We hope you'll come out and meet Sam and see his work. There are a lot of neat, interesting things. Thank you very much for watching.